everyone. Happy Victober to you. I am here to do a Victober Friday reads, and I wanted to tell you about what I have been reading and what I hope to continue reading. And I have made a list. Otherwise, I will forget. So I'm glad I have everything here in front of me. And for the first portion of the video, I did want to do a bit of show and tell. Because I have three new acquisitions in my life that I'm very excited about. Only one of them is, well, one is sort of Victober-ish. It's the right time period. But one is truly Victober and the other is not at all. But I'm just delighted that it's a part of my life. So I wanted to show you. I'll save the most exciting thing, the true Victober item, for last. I have really been comforted by TV this year. And I do enjoy movies. I have some movies to talk about later on. But there's something about a sitcom, getting to commit to just a half hour or something. And then, of course, usually I'll want to do another half hour. But I just love the pacing of that. So the two sitcoms that are really, I'm finding very comforting right now are The Nanny, which is streaming on Amazon Prime. And I have never watched all the way through it. So I am really loving that. And kind of, what do I want to say? City life is not something that I really kind of long for, living in New York City. But I love enjoying it vicariously through the TV series, The Nanny. But the other show, which is, it would be another streaming service I would have to pay for. And then my sister told me it was on sale. For $30, the complete series, and here we have the complete series of The Golden Girls. So this was on, I think it was 1987 was when the first season came on, and I just was very excited when I heard the sale that this was on. So I'm now in season 2, and it just makes for hilarious and delightful kind of bedtime viewing, and it never fails to make me laugh. And I just really am happy to own this so I can watch it whenever I want to. And it's going to be such a treat. Now, the next one, I have been stalking online for a long time, wondering, when I would be able to acquire it, kind of wanting to allocate Christmas money and all sorts of things. And then all of a sudden, boom, there it was on a huge sale. And also someone sent me a gift card. So you know who you are. And thank you very much, because this contributed largely towards this purchase. And that is the complete Road to Avonlea series. This is a series I wish I had known about as a child. I loved the Kevin Sullivan and films growing up. And if I had known about this as a kid, I would have loved it just as much. And so I've watched 2.5 seasons. I would do it through the library, but always having that time crunch, when having a TV series checked out from the library, it's a bit of pressure. So I saw that I could just get the whole series, and here I am. And I think this is just going to be lovely, a lovely, cozy companion throughout fall and winter. I'm really picturing kind of watching the majority of it. And I think I will just jump back to the beginning because Peter, I was talking to Peter about it. He's like, I don't even really remember it. And he did really like it when we watched it. So I want to watch with them if I can, as long as sometimes they're social priorities. They want to go and play with friends instead of staying and hanging out with me. So I might just watch some without them. And I first, though, want to finally finish my rewatch of Lark Rise to Candleford. So we started, I think it's this summer, maybe possibly this spring we started, but I have 2.5 episodes left, and it's so good. And I know Lark Rise to Candleford is one I'll be coming back to over and over again in my life. And then this really feels very similar to Lark Rise, and I love that it's something that it's very family friendly. I can watch it around my boys. So very excited about that. Now, the most exciting acquisition, and I cried when I opened it, and it's documented for a video for Patreon. My friend Sasha said she wanted to send me a book. and I had no idea kind of just the scale of the thing that she was going to send me. So here I hold in my hands, everyone, a 2-volume first edition set of Charlotte Mary Yonge's Dynevor Terrace. I was speechless when I opened up. Look, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. And then I will just show you. Here are the marbly end papers. Now, already, this is an astounding gift, right? It's already just absolutely amazing. But let us flip. This is volume 1. Yes, this is volume 1. David's trying to sneak very quietly by. Let us just flip here to the title, Collection of British Authors page, and there. Charlotte Mary Yonge herself has held this book in her hands, and she has autographed it. And you can tell, what I love is you can tell from the back how the ink started to come through there. Miss Yonge, I could not believe I was holding this in my hands. The same books that Charlotte Mary Yonge held in her hands. I will treasure them always. So I have a couple of nice marble bookends on top of one of our bookshelves over here. And these are definitely in pride of place there. And they're not leaving. So, Sasha, I am eternally grateful. I don't know what I did to deserve these. Oh, they're so beautiful. I love them so much. I look at them every day. And the first few days that I had them, I just carried them with me everywhere in the house. It's one of the, probably the coolest book gift I've ever been given. Okay, I wanted to talk to you about the Victober watching that I have been doing. So Lark Rise to Candleford, even though the book that it's inspired by was not published in the Victorian era, it's very much set during the Victorian era. So that feels very Victober-ish. But in addition to that, I watched, on the first day of Victober, I watched an entire 5-hour A&E miniseries from, I think, 1999 of Vanity Fair. It was excellent. And it was really interesting because, I've seen the feature-length film with Reese Witherspoon. I've seen the 2018 Amazon Prime adaptation that I really love that one. This one had a kind of a much quirkier feel to it. It's very quirky, and Vanity Fair does feel very larger than life, but this added, it's maybe a bit quirkier than the book, but I didn't mind. I thought, that's, creative license, and it was a really, really amazing miniseries. I will say, I always forget, Becky Sharp is a deplorable character, so it's going to get really heavy towards the end, and it definitely did. So I was really blown away by it, just the quality of it, and it was really fun because my mother-in-law was visiting and she got sucked in by it, and so that was very enjoyable, but just very intense. So I was ready for kind of maybe more lighthearted things after that. Then I did end up watching the 1983 Jane Eyre with Timothy Dalton, and I'm kind of having a Jane Eyre fest this year. I'm not actually reading Jane Eyre, but I'm watching many adaptations, and it's very, very fun to do so. So yes, Timothy Dalton, and this was my first time watching it, and I have to say that kind of the 80s miniseries are unrelentingly slow. That is something that, as a viewer that has seen not as many of those, that does take some getting used to. That being said, it was really, really just amazing. I don't know that I would want to sit through it again anytime soon. I really didn't think that, our two leads had that much chemistry until much farther on. It's very understated, the acting. And just the whole thing is very understated. But I came out thinking, like, wow, that was a really well done adaptation. And so very impressed by it. And then what I was not impressed by, and my friend Morgan and I, we watched this, we synced, our watching, and then we're messaging as it's happening. And that was the Ciaran Hinds Jane Eyre. He was the most shouty Rochester I have ever beheld. And I couldn't believe, in what world would Jane want to marry this man? In what world? It was unfathomable to me. He was so angry. And at some certain points, he's like yanking Jane around. And just, it was very uncomfortable to watch. And he just was yelling the entire movie. I just thought it's not at all believable that they would kind of be together. So the next day, I was like, I need to remedy this situation. And I had a hunch from just the trailer. I wanted to watch the William Hurt Jane Eyre, and it is now a favorite adaptation. So right now, I would say the 2006 Ruth Wilson, Toby Stephens, and 2011 Mia Schweikowska, Michael Fassbender version is tied, and now this is like the triumvirate. I loved this adaptation. There is a certain kind of pacing and feel to certain 90s movies that I just eat up. Like, now it's so funny. The farther, in time we get, the more low-key and slow-paced 90s movies seem. So I'm thinking of, well, that's late 80s, but it felt similar to 84 Charing Cross Road. It felt similar to Shadowlands, the 1995 Persuasion, and the soundtrack is so beautiful. It's living rent-free in my head. I've also added it to my Victober Slice of Life playlist, and I think I want to watch it again this month. That is how much I loved it, and it felt so autumnal. I feel that sometimes Jane Eyre adaptations feel autumnal and then winterish, but this one, it was like the entire time it felt autumnal. It just felt so perfect for watching during October, so I could not have been more impressed by it, and it was so funny to think about how vastly different Ciaran Hinds and William Hurt's portrayals of Rochester were. Like, William Hurt was very much a gentle giant. Yeah, it just, wow, so different. And then I watched the first half last night with Morgan of the 2006 Ruth Wilson, Toby Stephens adaptation. And I think my favorite thing about that adaptation is the chemistry that those two have. They're just so believable, and I love the dynamic between the two of them. Then I did also watch Charley's Aunt. And that was very fun. It's this 1940s version, and it's just very silly, and it's just delightful. That's what it is. So yeah, definitely recommend that if you haven't given it a try. And then I have a few episodes left of Martin Chuzzlewit. This is from the 90s, and I really like this miniseries. I had seen it once, maybe 10 years ago, and it felt like it was long overdue watching this one again. It's very, very enjoyable. And I've said multiple times, I just love Dickens on screen, and it works so well. And it was very, it just feels so lovely to be back in that world. Now, on to the books. The first book is not a Victober read, but I have long been thinking about doing a reread of A Severe Mercy by Sheldon Van Auken. It is kind of a combination grief memoir, spiritual autobiography, all around profoundly amazing book, and especially kind of theology of suffering. When it comes down to it, what do you believe about the purpose of suffering, and what do we do with suffering? And I just thought it could be a really comforting and fortifying book. It just feels so right. I just started listening to it last night, but I thought as a bedtime audiobook, just to listen to a little bit before bed, and it just is so lovely to be back in this book. It is really heavy. It's just, he's writing it as someone who's deeply in the throes of grief, but there is so much redemption in it. And so I'm really just looking forward to continuing on with it. And it just feels very consoling. And then my husband David is reading aloud a couple books to me. So the first book that he's reading aloud is a Victorian biography. So a biography that was published in the Victorian era. And it's a biography of Robert Murray McShane. He was a Scottish pastor, and he has a Bible reading plan that he compiled where in the course of a year, you will have read the New Testament and the Psalms 2 times, and then the Old Testament 1 time. And the very sad, ironic thing is after he published this plan, within that calendar year, he passed away. So he didn't even complete his own plan. But he was just a remarkable man, very, very driven. And already in the biography, he learned the Greek alphabet at the age of 4. And just the standard for scholarship, it's just decreases by the year. So that just astounded me, learning the Greek alphabet at 4. And I'm really enjoying that. And then we have almost finished reading through Parables of the Cross by Lilias Trotter. So my plan is to, once this is completed, I want to watch the documentary, Many Beautiful Things. And I meant to watch it a year ago, but now I have been like, no, I want to reread this first. And so, we're here and we only have this much left. I mean, it's such a short book, but it just packs such a punch. It's amazing. And it's all about the struggle against self, against your old self, and the kind of the striving to come more into your new self. And it's so nourishing. It's so beautiful, beautifully written, and so compassionate. And then it is also filled with her beautiful, beautiful artwork. So this is a picture of flowers and thorns, and setteth in pain the jewel of his joy. So there's lots of parallels from nature that she uses in this. So yeah, it's just an amazing, amazing book. Cannot recommend it enough. And then this is the year that I can't believe I'm saying this, but there are 3 books that I have previously DNF'd, and I'm thoroughly enjoying this time. No one is more surprised than me by this. So first on the list is the group read, and that is Hester by Margaret Oliphant. So I have not yet read today's chapters, but yesterday we finished volume 1, which is very exciting. So I will say, I was thinking it was like 5-star material when I was first reading it, and now it's just steadily at 4 stars. I think the character of Hester is actually a bit off-putting to me. Often when there is a female character in a book who's supposed to be like Miss Independent, it just comes off a little strong to me, and it seems a bit exaggerated. And so that's how Hester feels to me right now. But the writing itself, it's just beautiful. And I am really intrigued. A certain new character has just been introduced. And I really kind of want to know what is going to happen with that character. And it does make Hester more interesting to me. Kind of how is she going to handle things now? What exactly is going on in her head? What is she going to do? And I'm listening to the Georgina Sutton audiobook, and good grief, does that woman know how to narrate? Her voice is perfection. So I am really enjoying it as an audiobook, and it's really cool to see kind of on the Discord what everybody's thinking, and everybody's really invested in, this as a group read. So I have historically, I'm a bad host, and I haven't really, I don't always finish the group reads. So I'm delighted to be kind of really on board this year. And I love that somebody in the group, they made a schedule bookmark, which was so thoughtful of them. So then the next one that I previously DNF'd, and I had to use up an Audible credit on this, and I did not know if I was going to regret that later on. I thought, well, hopefully, I haven't used too many returns on Audible this year. I could just return it. But it's just the right time to read it. And that is The White Company by Arthur Conan Doyle. And what's a very fun thing is this is one of my husband David's favorite books. And so I brought it up and put it up in one of the shelves in our living room because I thought, I want, easy access to look at the pictures because this is a lovely edition illustrated by N.C. Wyeth. And he saw it on the shelf and he's been wanting to read more. So he has picked back up with it and he's rereading it and he's really enjoying it. So this is historical fiction and our main character is Elaine. I did not know how to pronounce his name until I listened to the audiobook because it's Alleyne. It is a name I had not encountered before. And Elaine it's kind of a quest novel and it's very much like a lad's novel. And so he lives in where is it? I think he lives in an abbey. I think that's what it is. Or not an abbey, a monastery. I think he lives in a monastery. And just look at these end pages. I love that. And then I did want to show you this illustration in particular. So beautiful. And he's traveling a lot, so you're getting to meet all the people, all of the very colorful characters that he's meeting along the way traveling. And he's going to become what is the title? A squire, that's what it is. So he becomes a squire to Sir Nigel Loring, and so he's going to go to France, and he's joining the White Company. So, like I said, it's a lad's book. He's going to be with them, and then there's all sorts of just wild adventures that he goes on. There are some intervals in there, too, describing the landscape, and I just eat those up. I wish there were more descriptive passages because it's not something that I have experienced Arthur Conan Doyle do that much. And it's so beautiful and so puts such vivid pictures in my mind when he does it that I think, I just want more and more of that. So I'm very excited about this. It feels to me like it could be another book like that I could love, like The Cloister and the Hearth by Charles Reade. That is a Victorian book that I just love so much. And there's a category of book that I call travel historical fiction. And it is The Door in the Wall, The Cloister and the Hearth, Brother Dusty Feet by Rosemary Sutcliffe, and Adam of the Road by, I think it's Janet Elizabeth Gray. I just eat those up. I love them. So very excited to continue on with this and so delighted that I'm enjoying it this time. And then the final one that I DNF'd before, and it makes me so happy to enjoy now, is The Beetle by Richard Marsh. And it makes me very happy to enjoy this because this was a favorite of Jennifer Brooks. And I think there are many of us that just very much are missing Jennifer, especially during Victober. When you're looking up Victober videos, her videos are always at the top of my search feed, and I just really miss her. So I am just delighted to be enjoying The Beetle. So The Beetle, it really caught me off guard the first time I tried it with how kind of cheesy and campy it is. But I have to say, one of the big loves of my life, as far as movies go, is the movie The Young Sherlock Holmes. I am obsessed with this movie, obsessed. And every year on Victober Eve, I watch The Young Sherlock Holmes, and often my friend Morgan joins me, and for the past couple of years now, Peter has joined me. I finally decided he was old enough. It utterly terrified him the first time he saw it, but now he's more used to it. And I adore this movie, and it is to the point where I was copying down, like noting all the food that was in the movie and thinking how fun it would be to make an entire menu to have, a whole party to go with it. And The Young Sherlock Holmes is kind of like Harry Potter and Sherlock Holmes combined, where it's supposed to be Holmes and Watson meeting at boarding school and university. No, maybe it's not university. Maybe they're younger than university. But they're at boarding school, and it's just pure magic, this movie. And there are a couple mysterious deaths happening in London. And no, I don't want to say more. But I have to say the plot feels very Victorian. So as I'm starting my reread of the Beetle, the light bulb went off. It occurred to me, I'm like, this is just like the young Sherlock Holmes. The whole vibe of this and some of the mystery in it is like the young Sherlock Holmes. And now I'm just totally on board. I keep thinking of it as the young Sherlock Holmes. Like, that is the vibe that it is. Don't take it too seriously. Just roll with it. Just go with it. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it that way. So it is thrilling on audio as well, I have to say. Especially thrilling on audio. And I am really curious kind of how the plot is going to unfold. I finished the first chunk, the first section. So that really sets everything up. There is some evil that is going to be terrorizing London. And it's a bit of a revenge plot. There's a politician in the past who did something. We don't know what he did, but there is someone who wants revenge. And so now this revenge, it's got some tropes in it that feel very kind of back to Gothic novels, and it's just a wild ride. So I am really enjoying it for variety in my reading. Now I have to say, I am at a bit of a standstill with our mutual friend. When I'm in the chapters with characters that I love it so much. But Mr. Weg and Mr. Venus, I could never read about them again, and it would be too soon. I'm really bored of them. But it's my Patreon group read, so I do want to pick up with it, but it just feels so daunting. Now I'm behind. Now I'm like very behind. So I need to catch up on that. And I do want to get back to the characters that I really love in that. And because the chapters that I've read with those characters in the first half of the book, I'm loving this. I want to, see more of them. So I need to get back into that one. Now, today, I did finish Middlemarch. And this, I just have to hug it. This is now, is that right? Because I noted in the back. Yes, this is my 4th time reading this. I can't get over this book. I can't get over it. And I have to say, what I love is how grounded in reality this book feels. It feels so consoling for anyone who is disappointed about any of the circumstances of your life. This is a book that you're going to want to sit with. And what I love is it has some really heartbreaking things that happen in it, but I don't feel at all beat up by the end of it. I just feel like I have spent time with kindred spirits and people that are experiencing life for the first time as well. And I mean, that ending passage, it's not a spoiler, so don't be alarmed. Her finely touched spirit had still its fine issues, though they were not widely visible. Her full nature, like that river of what Cyrus broke the strength, spent itself in channels which had no great name on the earth. But the effect of her being on those around her was incalculably diffusive, for the growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. That might be my favorite ending passage to a book ever. And one aspect of rereading that I just think is maybe my favorite thing about rereading is that you end up sometimes focusing on a different character that you hadn't noticed as much the first time. And the character that I really was just tracking with the whole time was Lydgate. Tertius Lydgate, he is a doctor, and he wants to change the world. He wants to make groundbreaking discoveries in the medical field, and he wants to just make a big splash in the medical world. And then it's just like the circumstances of his life. He feels so limited. And so, with the different physical limitations that I've had, his story was really resonating with me. And trying to think of anything else. How do you summarize a book like this? I just love it so much. I love it. Oh, and I only loved it more this time around. And it was so, that's the thing. So my friend Nada and I, we read this together. And we were both saying how it's really cool to come back to this and notice how much humor is in here. There are a lot of really funny things in this book. And I think the first time I was spending so much cognitive energy just kind of understanding the lay of the land that then the funny parts, I just totally missed them. And there's one line I wanted to read to you. So I actually texted it to my sister-in-law. I'm glad, because I can't find it in here. And so I'm really glad that I did. She's currently reading Middlemarch for the first time and thoroughly enjoying it. But the quote is, Mrs. Cadwallader says Cadwallader, yes. Mrs. Cadwallader says it is nonsense, people going on a long journey after they get married. She says that they get tired to death of each other and can't quarrel comfortably like they can at home. That made me laugh so hard. They can't quarrel comfortably like they can at home. And then lastly, it's very chaotic kind of feeling to my Victober reading because I've only finished one book and I've started about 6. And I still have several more that I really want to get to. But the last one was another spontaneous one, and that is Tom Brown's School Days by Thomas Hughes. And there is one reason, and one reason only, why I wanted to pick this up, and that is the one, the only, Lionel Hardcastle. If any of you As Time Goes By fans, if you have seen, they're usually reading before bed, and Tom Brown's School Days is one of the books that Lionel reads. But I'm so glad that Lionel Hardcastle spurred me on to read Tom Brown's School Days. I was potentially saving it to do as a Patreon read, and then I just started it. And it's very charming. I think it kind of is what I thought it was going to be, except more charming and engaging. I was worried it was going to be dull. I think that's what it is. I didn't know if I was going to get on with it, but it's just delightful. And it feels just very Victorian. And really, I'm in the mood for it. So I do have to say, I'm looking at my list of like top priority things. I would still love to read The Woman in White. I really do want to read The Woman in White. Both Idylls of the King or Idols. I go so back and forth on what I'm actually supposed to call it. But I re-listened to a sample and I think it's Idols of the King. Aurora Lee, I also would love to reread that. And then for the Fantasy Challenge, Fantasties by George MacDonald. And then also, I've been hearing the buddy readers of Jezebel's Daughter by Wilkie Collins. They've been saying how good it is. And I have access to that on audio, narrated by Nicholas Bolton. And I just love his narration. So we're just going to see how things go this upcoming week with my reading. We'll see kind of how everything goes. So I hope that you all are having a wonderful Victober and are really enjoying whatever it is you're watching, whatever it is that you are reading, whether it be via audio or with your eyeballs. And I hope that you will comment down below. Let me know how everything is going for you. And I will be back with another video soon. Bye.